Have you ever noticed how some people just seem to suck the life out of you, whereas others just propel you into the future? But what's the difference here and how does it relate to your brand? In this video, I'd like to deep dive into this concept that we call brand experience. And let me give you one word. It's all about energy. Hi, my name is Michelle and I'm your brand rebel, expressionista, and the founder of the Be a Brand Rebel Academy. So, energy. Why is this important? And isn't that a whole lot of, blah, blah and mumbo jumbo? Well, let me start with saying that you probably have met those people that you just don't feel them. Is like, okay, there's a total disconnect. You don't feel at ease with them. You're like, okay, you're just not my person. And that is because probably their energy just doesn't really match yours. Now, energy is everywhere, but how can we use it in our brand? So a brand has its own identity, which is more invisible. It's more about your values and your beliefs. But a brand also has a personality, and the personality is a lot more about what you radiate and what you express. But here's what you want to be careful of. You want to be careful of creating a brand personality that is just a simple copy of who you are as the entrepreneur. That would be a mistake. And chances are that you're making that mistake right now, because everybody is telling you that you just need to be yourself. The problem is that by just being yourself, you might not be tapping into what is all hidden inside of you already, but that just hasn't come to the surface yet. And the thing is that with energy, with radiating energy within your brand and with anything that you do with your communication, social media, and all of that, maybe right now you're not really giving your clients the experience that they require to make the right decision. So there's a few things that you might want to know. 95% of the decisions that we make as human beings are made simply because they feel good. I've talked about that before in previous videos. But what does that mean? Well, it means that the most decisions we make unconsciously. So that is something that is for me, but it's also for you. All of us make decisions unconsciously, simply because our unconscious brain, our subconscious brain, is a lot better at making decisions than our logical brain. So we might feel that we make decisions based on facts and data, etc., but our unconscious brain has already made the decision for us, and we tend to justify it a few seconds after. So don't kid yourself and don't think that you're a logical person, because we're all emotional beings, and that is perfectly fine, because that's how our subconscious brain actually protects us from any harm or anything that doesn't really feel right for us. So knowing this, then you can understand that if we all base our decisions on feeling good or bad, we want our ideal clients to feel so at ease with us, to feel so trusted, and to feel so comfortable that even before they've said yes to a product or service, they already feel like, yeah, this is the right person, this is the right brand. Understand that with the word client, I also mean potential client. I'm using that word in between, but sometimes people haven't even bought, but they still want to feel right about the decision, right? So here's what you can do. What you want to do is create an emotional experience, given the fact that most decisions are emotion-based. Now, what is emotion? Emotion, it's energy in motion. This is really interesting. Energy in motion. This means that there is motion here, there is movement. And when you think of it, that makes a lot of sense, because, well, the people that we're trying to help and your client, your potential clients, are stuck right now. They're in a certain place in their lives, in their relationships, in their bodies, that maybe they don't really feel happy with, or maybe there's just a simple need for a certain product because right now they don't, well, even if you're selling pens, for example, they don't have a pen to write with. So there's a need, there's a pain, like I don't have a pen, this is annoying, I cannot even write my notes down. Something very simple. There is always a place where they're at, there is a need, there's a struggle, there's a pain, and you want to move them forward into the future where they actually have found the solution and they've solved the pain, they've solved the problem. So there is basically going from here to there. That is a fact. So you're going to move them, you're going to make a difference. And to move people, that's where emotion comes at play. And that is actually where energy comes at play as well. So how can you create that energy, create a brand experience that creates the right energy? Well, first of all, you really have to understand your brand. You have to be very clear on the brand identity. You have to be very clear on your dreams and your mission in this life. And I'm talking about the brand. I'm not specifically talking about you as a person, because, you know, what you want to do is actually allow the brand to have its own identity. Because that way you can actually, you know, increase it so that your staff members can represent the brand as well. Second, you really want to understand your clients, your potential clients, your audience. Let's use the word audience. You want to understand your audience. And what you want to really be aware of is that you choose who you want to work with. Who are those people? What's their common ground? What personality traits do they have? You don't want to work with people that suck the life out of you. And you definitely don't want to be the one that sucks the life out of them. So understand that you need to know your client, and you need to know their pain and also what they long to experience. They want to feel something when they're working with you. Because as soon as you understand, or as you know what they want and what they're longing for, what they're craving for, and what they want to experience, then you can actually consciously create that experience that will help them. So that's the third step. The third step is that you're going to consciously radiate that energy that is going to propel them into the future, that's really going to help them. And maybe you feel like, yeah, but I have my own personality, I should just be myself. Well, I have talked about this in previous videos, and I think that there's something very, very flawed about that statement, because first of all, there's nothing just about you, and second of all, you might not even know what is possible. And thirdly, because you are not copying yourself, you're giving the brand its own identity, you're also giving it its own personality, so it has its own energy. Let's just look at a few examples. Let's say that you're a coach and you have a client that lacks self-confidence. They feel very insecure about who they are. And this is something that maybe you recognize, because in the past you've struggled with that as well. Now, my question to you is, would it help them if you would show your insecurity right in that moment? I'm not talking about you sharing how you experienced that in the past. That is perfectly fine. But would it help them if you were uncertain about your product? If you were uncertain about how you can help them? Would they feel that they were in the right place? Probably not. It doesn't help if you have someone that needs certainty, that needs to feel like you're gonna help them. If they feel a little bit insecure, or maybe they're just not convinced about your solution yet, it doesn't help if you radiate that uncertainty. Sometimes we need to tap into aspects of ourselves to radiate a certain certainty, a certain confidence, even though we might not feel that in that moment. I can tell you that I have not always felt confident on stage. I've had moments where I had to really fake it till I made it. But by doing that, I challenged myself to, get over my own discomfort, to challenge myself to get over my own limiting beliefs. And really, allow myself to be more than just that. So it's the same with your brand. I mean, just the insecurity is just one thing. Maybe your client actually feels down and feels a little bit depressed, and they need someone to encourage them. They need someone to activate them and really compliment them. Or maybe not. Maybe they need someone to really be the wise one, the calm one. And if they're stressed in their lives, you know, if your client is really, really stressed, it doesn't really help for you to be really, really stressed and show that stress all the time. They need you to be grounded and the wise one. There is place for you with your partner or your friends to show that you don't have it all together anyway. But, you know, that energy, leave that energy behind the door for now. You can definitely share that you have some vulnerabilities there as well. You can share that you struggle with that as well. But in that moment, when you're talking to your client, right in that moment, you need to show up for them so that they can actually feel that trust. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it all together. But in the moment that you're interacting with your clients, you need to be on point. Because otherwise you're letting them down, because you're not creating that trust that they actually need to say yes to your product or actually keep working with you. Whether it's, you know, it doesn't really matter at what stage they're at. So that requires of us really as entrepreneurs to sometimes tap into certain elements of our personality that we haven't really developed yet. You see, our personality, and therefore a brand personality, we can choose a certain brand personality, really consciously choose, you know, this is the brand personality that matches the brand and the client's needs. And that requires for us, myself, to develop certain personality traits that I haven't yet. Our personality is really our personal reality. Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about that. And that personal reality is something that is just that, you know, personal reality, not the truth. It's not the truth. But your truth might be hidden. Your truth is definitely there. And the truth of who you really can be is right there inside of you. Once you have the courage to step into discomfort and to not always feel okay with what you're doing and allow yourself to become okay with it in the future. So, energy. In short, just to sum it up, you can influence how people feel about your brand. You can influence how people feel, how they, feel trusted, how they feel energized, how they feel encouraged. You can consciously create a brand personality that will create a certain experience, and therefore an emotional experience that will move people in the right direction. And yes, sometimes you might need to tap into elements of you that you haven't developed yet, and that is completely fine. This is how you grow. This is how you grow as a person, as an entrepreneur, as an individual, as a partner, as in any role. And I hope that that inspires you. Now, please, if this helps you in any way, leave me a comment, give me a like, tag people, because I really believe that this is important. This is not just about the brand. This is not just about branding or the business. This is about personal development, really. So please share this and allow this message to be spread. Around this video, you might find a link, and otherwise it's in the link in bio, depends on what platform you are. But check the link and download my free stuff so that you can actually be on my email list, and I can send you more amazing, inspiring updates. Wishing you a wonderful day and see you next time. Ciao.